All right, today we are digging into a crypto project that's been flying way under the radar, but is suddenly making a whole lot of noise. We're going to unpack Polymesh, what some people are starting to call crypto's hidden gem.
This whole thing really kicked off because of a feeling. It started with this post from a Reddit user, Seth Darkus, who just put it out there. I got this weird feeling Polymesh is a hidden gem among blockchains. Now, you see comments like this all the time, right? But with everything that's happened recently, we just had to take a closer look. And that one little post got us asking the two big questions for today's explainer. What is Polymesh, really? And with all this sudden buzz, is the secret finally out? Let's break it down. Okay, so let's start with the absolute basics to figure out why anyone would even call it a hidden gem to begin with. So here's the thing you've got to understand about Polymesh. It is not trying to be the next Bitcoin or Ethereum. Nope. It has a very, very specific mission. It's an institutional-grade blockchain built for one single purpose, handling regulated assets. We're talking stocks, bonds, real estate, all that traditional Wall Street stuff, but brought onto the blockchain. And that laser focus, well, it puts Polymesh right smack in the middle of one of the absolute biggest trends in crypto right now, the real-world asset, or RWA revolution. So what are RWAs anyway? It's a pretty simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful. They're just digital tokens that represent your ownership of a real-world thing. So just imagine your stock certificate or the deed to your house, but instead of being a piece of paper locked in a safe, it's a secure digital token on the blockchain. And look, this is not some tiny little niche experiment. The RWA market just blew past a massive milestone. We're talking about a total value of over $20 billion. But here's what's really got people's attention, the future potential. Analysts are looking at just one slice of this pie, tokenized stocks, and they're projecting an opportunity that could be worth $5 trillion. And that is the exact wave Polymesh was built to ride. So why Polymesh for this huge market? Well, it was designed from the ground up with all the rules and regulations in mind. Things like identity verification, that's not some add-on. It's baked right into the protocol. It's built to handle confidential deals and provide that top-tier, institutional-grade security that Wall Street absolutely demands. Okay, so we get what it is, we get the huge market it's aiming for. But why is everyone talking about it right now? Let's look at what lit the fuse. It was like a perfect storm, all happening in the span of just a few days. At the end of March 2024, analysts pointed to that $5 trillion opportunity and specifically called out POLYX as key infrastructure. The very next day, the whole RWA market crossed that $20 billion mark. And then, just a few days after that, the POLYX token just surged, becoming one of the top gainers of the day. You can literally see the moment the market woke up. The 24-hour trading volume for POLYX didn't just rise, it absolutely exploded. We're talking a surge of over 1,000%, according to CoinGecko. That's not just market chatter, that is the sound of serious attention and a lot of capital suddenly flooding in. And on top of all that market action, Polymesh got this massive vote of confidence from the big players. They were invited to join the Tokenized Asset Coalition. This is a pretty exclusive group of heavy hitters, all focused on bringing capital markets onto the blockchain. This move basically puts them right at the grown-ups table. But hey, this is crypto, right? It is never that simple. The long-term picture looks fantastic, but if you're a short-term trader, the charts are telling a much, much more complicated story. And this creates that classic crypto dilemma. The fundamental story, the why behind the project, it seems incredibly solid. But the day-to-day price action, the charts that traders live and die by, they are flashing some seriously mixed signals. And this just lays out that puzzle perfectly. On the bullish side, you've got that huge institutional validation. The price popped above a key technical level, the 50-day moving average, and the whole RWA sector is just booming. But on the bearish side, technical indicators like the MACD histogram went negative, the momentum indicator dropped below zero, and the daily volatility is sky high at over 55%. That's a real head-scratcher for any trader. So with all these conflicting signals flying around, what's the actual plan? Where does the project go from here? Let's take a peek at the official roadmap. Well, their roadmap shows a really clear strategic focus. First up, they're expanding their Polymesh Private features. That's absolutely critical for getting big institutions on board who need to keep their data confidential. Second, they're constantly making protocol upgrades that are driven by the community. And third is the long game.
Just focus on growing the whole ecosystem to grab a bigger and bigger piece of that massive RWA pie.
So what could all this mean for its value? Now, of course, these are just algorithm-based forecasts from CoinCodex. This is definitely not financial advice, but they give us a sense of the scale that some models are predicting. From around 8 cents by the end of 2026, all the way to over $1.40 by 2050. It really shows you the kind of long-term convictions some people have in this RWA trend and Polymesh's place in it. Which brings us back to the ultimate question. With its institutional focus and its compliance-first design, is Polymesh the key piece of the puzzle? That crucial bridge that finally allows Wall Street to come flooding onto the blockchain? Or, looking at those wild price swings, is it just another highly volatile crypto bet? The secret might be out, but what happens next is anyone's guess.